Hello, my family. Okay, so I told you that I was having voice issues, and I still am. But I'm eager to come back to work, y'all. I've been like this for almost a week, and I just got to do what I got to do. Something attacked my lungs, and it's finally breaking up. Nasty, but it's breaking up. So I got to get back to work. I'm going to show you what I have been doing though since this time off. I'm not laying around, y'all. I know some of you told me to rest and all that, and I am learning how to rest. But here's how I'm doing it. I am learning that I don't have to be up on my feet 24/7. I can actually do what I need to get done, and then later in the evening, whether I'm doing my studies with my Bible, watch a TV or whatever, I actually take some time out to relax my legs. The other thing about that, now they were giving me, for the swelling in my legs, they gave me water pills only when needed. However, the most pushed thing to use was compression socks. And I will tell you, y'all, those feel so good on my legs. It feels like somebody is hugging my legs, and it is working. All of the fluid in my legs and feet have subsided. I have used maybe those water pills twice since I got them. So it's more the compression socks, and they're working amazingly. So this old girl's pretty much coming back to life. Now, I also knew that I only got, I think, maybe sick once or twice this entire year. So I want to keep that up. Now, it is bitter cold here in Mississippi. This is a temperature, honestly, that we have not seen since we've lived here. And it's not going away anytime soon. They're talking about into the 20th. We even have snow, which is unseen here where we're at. We got snow and ice coming as well. So I had to do some things around the homestead because I got to show you what I started when it was warmer, and then all of a sudden everything flipped. However, it wasn't a loss. Let me show you before we get to our recipe, because I'm going to do a recipe today I've never tried before. And I want to see what it's like to have a butternut squash mac and cheese. So we are going to go ahead and make something like that as well. I am having fish. Mr. James, he's going to have some air fried chicken legs. So I have my table. Y'all know me. I mean, I don't have company, so my table becomes what I need on the homestead, especially in the winter when you can't grow very well. However, leave it to me because I am finding ways to be able to do what I need to improve our health. Now, I'm going to take you to my kitchen table and show you what we've got going on there, because we have some major superfoods going on by that table. So let me take you over there. Okay, y'all, so this is my microgreens. These, once they get up high enough, throw this inside of a salad into making a sandwich. Y'all, this is a superfood that will boost you amazingly compared to what anything we're getting at the grocery store. This stuff here has powerful nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. This has got arugula, broccoli, I can't remember everything in here. Radishes, I think. And over here, these are sunflowers. Now, I have never tried this. This is black-seeded sunflowers. I'm still waiting for the little tops to come off of them. I brush them like this, and I have to spray them so I can keep the tops moist enough so that they will fall off of here. But once we get done with this, this is another microgreen. This was a mistake. Actually, this was sprouting seeds, honestly. And so these sprouting seeds were supposed to be sprouts, and they got turned into, well, they got turned into microgreens. So that was a goof, but I'm going to use them anyways. This is fresh basil. Y'all, I told you, I go through my basil, and it really hurt when I lost it. So I started some more. There we got sprouts, so that we can add this to also sandwiches or salads, or pretty much anything if we wanted to even add it to soups. Back here it's got another, right there is a baby basil. And here I have started with endive and chive, or leeks. So I'm starting those indoors because these can be done in January and they do prefer cool temps. So once they get high enough, I'll be transplanting them. But now we're going to get bundled up and we're going to go outside, and I'm going to show you what I actually have going on there as well. Okay, y'all, so we're outside now. Now it's a bit sunny. This nasty storm that we're getting, whether we get snow, ice, or whatever, that's coming in this evening. So I've had to prepare a lot of things for this bitter cold. I'm going to flip this around and show you how I did that. Okay, so here is my herb box. And let me show you what's going on in here, y'all. Let's see if I can get this. Hang on a second. I got to pop this cloth up. Now this has got weeds, but there's parsley growing in here. This is chives growing in here. And on this back side is all of my oregano. We have fresh oregano growing up under here, y'all. Let me show you this. Let's see here. Try to get it. There we go. Here is, look at this. Every bit of this is fresh oregano, y'all. We're just going to cover these bad boys back up and keep them safe. So this is the herb beds. I'm going to bring this back down. Hang on a minute. Okay, so this is a much, the cloth on this one is a lot thicker, y'all. This is a zipped up tree bag. Now this has got, let me just show you, hang on. You will never believe this until you see it for yourself. This is bitter cold, y'all. We're getting temps down in the 21s. And this is my tea tree. And it looks absolutely amazing. But it's insulated under this bag. It's breathable, so I do not have to ever take this out. So far, that was just that. Now, the lemon tree has got the same bag, and I've got that one put up as well. Now we're going to go to the garden area. And I'm going to show you what we're doing here. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to keep warm while I'm trying to keep myself from being sicker. So, I got to show you what I've been doing out here, but what these covers, and I'll explain the covers once we get inside, what these are that's working so amazing. Sorry. Okay, so this, what looks like little wagons. These are the raised beds. Now I did plant some seeds in here, but I have all the ones that planted seeds, they're all covered. These have been growing for a while. I have arugula in here, I have kale, and now I have new seedlings of other fresh lettuce. Because believe it or not, you can grow this in January. If you figure out a way to do this to protect them, you can do this. Now I'm going to just pull this up a little so you can see what's going on in here. This is our kale. That's all arugula. And further back there, we have some spinach and the new crops of babies going on. Now I'm going to tell you, our temps have been about 21 degrees. And I'm still able to grow. All right, y'all. So I have started parsley. I wanted to get it while it was cold. Cold stratifying parsley is a necessity. So while we hit our coldest season, it was perfect because I'm going to turn this one into a raised bed of nothing but herbs. So in here, I have cilantro and parsley, and they're being cold stratified. Over here, I have some baby radishes coming up. Let me see if I can uncover this for you too. I know it looks weird going and trying to do this, but here is our radishes, y'all. And I think I have some Swiss chard in here as well. So we have, this is amazing. I have food. Hold on. That's better. I have food growing at this point, and I even have tea. I have mint that is also covered, and I have some anise hyssop that is covered, and I'm able to have tea and fresh vegetables that is so much healthier for us than anything I'm getting at the store. Let's go inside because it's cold. All right, y'all. I had to grab my coffee too. Oh, that's warm. Okay, so I've been drinking a lot of coffee, warm tea, you name it, just to stay warm. We are not used to this. And so, but, you know, it only happens this time of year. I'm not going to complain, y'all, because honestly, we need this. I'm hoping and praying that this is a point where we're going to get winter over this month and not any more surprises, because the last 2 years have really bit hard. We would have warmer weather, then all of a sudden a freeze would come through, wipe away all of our blooms off of our apple trees, our pear trees, our naked cherries, everything. It would wipe those blooms away, and then we never got any fruit for 2 years in a row. So we need it to be freezing now so that we can have a normal spring and summer to be able to get all of our fruit again. So that's one thing I'm hoping for. So I'll deal with this, y'all. I'm not going to complain about our weather. We have had a lot of rain this winter. But remember, I told you, we had a massive drought. And believe it or not, with all the rain that we've had and the storms that we've had, we still don't have enough to catch up to what we lost, which is seriously scary at this point. So I am getting ready to start seeds for the new season, and I am hopeful that this is going to be an abundant year. I'm actually going to do something different this year, though. Biblically, I am going to try something to see what happens. It's in a situation where I'm going to try God. Now, I am going to take the first parts of my crop. We're not going to eat it. As a matter of fact, we're going to give it away to somebody else. Now, I'm not saying this, and please understand this. I'm not saying this to get a pat on the back. The reason I'm doing this, because according to the way it was in the ways of the Bible, in the Old Testament, people would take their crops. It would be given their 10% to God, which meant giving it away to anybody who needed it, whether it's a food pantry or a family. So giving away these to somebody else is like giving your first 10% to God. In doing so, God abundantly took our gardens, and He immeasurably we produced from it so much. So I'm going to do that for the first time, and I'm going to give my first 10% to God. And then from there, we are going to use for our stocks to stock us up for this winter. Yes, my husband does work in the winter this time. However, I have found that times when it is hard, and we have taken decreases, so this does help us in more ways than one. So I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, because here's the other thing. This has now become more than just stocking my pantry for the winter, y'all. This is stocking our pantry for survival. And what I mean by survival is growing our own gives us more nutrients and vitamins than we are buying anything at the store. I am literally watching skin colors turn so much lighter. I have a family that is seriously malnutritioned. And so I had kicked into doing a lot of research on our food. We are very much in trouble. So I am going to produce as much as I possibly can for ourselves. I want to get everything that I can organically into these bodies. So that means I will preserve my own crops. I'm depending on them for our health. I have for 2 times that I went to my doctor, this one being the longest, almost a year before I could see her, and my blood work was still so beautiful. So much that I have never heard my doctor say, literally, When she gave me the medication for water pills, her exact words were, "I don't even want to do this." Now, let me explain to you, she is a pharmaceutical doctor. And for her to say that really meant a lot to me, because she said, "I do not want to whatsoever start filling your body with prescription drugs for counteracting against anything that you have already done." She said, "You have the most amazing blood work I have ever seen out of you since we started, and I lived here 2018. I started seeing them about 2019, maybe 2000, somewhere in there in the 18s and 19s, because I had to transfer from Tennessee to Mississippi and doctors. So since 2018 or 19, this is the best my blood work has ever done. And the reason for that was because of homesteading. I am strong on homesteading, not just for survival, y'all. Homesteading isn't just for self-sufficiency of survival. It is, however, for health. And the most amazing health you could do for yourself is grow your own, because what we have is untrustworthy. This may change over the years, maybe, but it's going to take time. So we need to do something now. There are more malnutrition folks today than there has ever been. And there are people who are anemic. So I'm working with my family doing the same thing. I'm taking lessons and teaching from my grandchildren to my kids to whoever else is willing to learn. So that is my goal this year. And this is the reason why I am going to go ahead and do this. Honestly, do I need to do this? No, my husband works and he could provide the groceries. That's not the point. The point is what we're buying is not healthy enough. So yes, this is mandatory, because this is something I want for us. I want a longer lifestyle. I live like I do today. My skin, as old as I am, y'all, at 58 years old, I was highly impressed to know that I don't look my age. But I have other folks who are my age, and I have seen there's some of them are younger than me that are in my husband's family, and scarily how old they look. So I don't want to do this. I want to be able to follow what God has showed me and go from there. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am currently, the only thing that has stopped me from making videos is this crazy voice of mine. So it's getting better, so I hope you all can hear me, hope you can understand me, and so we're going to work with it. But in the meantime, this homestead is running because I can't stop. Now, I will come to a point, though, after 6 years, come the 7th year, I am not going to be touching certain beds. I am going to let them the entire year replenish. We're not going to pull the weeds. We're not going to do nothing to them, but let them sit. We will fill them and leave them. That's it. The reason for that, it gives all the weeds go back nutrients into the soil. All the microbiome and everything else that works into the soil starts to replenish itself, giving us much better crops. This means I can add my natural fertilizers of wood ash, chicken scrap, all these things, including regular leaves, all the natural abilities that God had put on this earth, I could put in those beds and let them sit. When they decompose, they give me the most amazing fertilizer ever. I can even add my coffee grounds to this mix and just let them sit the entire year. So this is going to happen next year. That's on the 2 20-footers and the 10-footer. In the meantime, I will be using the newer raised beds for the next 5 years. So, and then once that 1 year is over, on the 7th year, we're going to go ahead and start. Well, no. Let's see. We grow for the 6 years. The 7th year, we stop growing anything for the entire year. The 8th year, we start doing this again. Granted, I know this sounds different, but this is the way they did it in biblical times, and it makes sense to me. I am not using commercial graded fertilizers. I'm using all natural, ground-made, God-made fertilizer, and I want to see how this works. Y'all, we have tested everything else. What's it going to hurt to let those beds fill them and leave them? I have plenty enough raised beds to work with. So we're going to do some testing. If this works, I'm going to stick with this because, I mean, honestly, what's it hurting? If it's going to help, let's do this. So now we're going to go in the kitchen and we're going to make a very unique macaroni and cheese. I'm so eager to find out how this is going to work. So let's get our butternut squash, y'all, because we got some cooking to do. Okay, y'all, so I understand that this is very unique. Well, it's not actually unique. This has been around for quite a while. However, this is a much healthier version than the Velveeta style throw-in melted Velveeta cheese, which is high in the extreme in sodium, processed, and making macaroni and cheese out of, which that's what's used in a lot of box stuff. Or the other way is making a roux. Now that is even healthier too. But I want to try this butternut squash. I want to see, even though we're adding cheese, it's still much healthier. So I definitely want to try this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and add some olive oil into my pot because I have currently 1 pound of cubed up butternut squash, which I had a great big one, and what I did was broke it down. I froze the rest of this. I have found, me and Mr. James went shopping, and we could not find frozen butternut squash anywhere. Sorry, y'all. We couldn't find it anywhere. So we found a nice sized butternut squash, purchased it, and broke it down. And I have a total of three more bags of these in the freezer. So I have 1 small onion chopped, and I have 2 cloves of garlic. So we're going to get these cooked up first. I need a tablespoon of butter, so I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, let's rock and roll. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter and about a tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to bring this up to our heat, and as soon as this comes up to heat, we will be right back because we are going to add our onions at this point. Oh, I have to let you all know I'm super, super stoked. Mr. James fixed my stove, y'all. Yes, so this eye here was giving me a fit with cooking too high. The element needed to be, not the element itself, it was the temperature control behind the stove on this button switch. It was turned around and messed up, so we ordered a new one. It came in. We finally got this fixed, which means canning season is going to come around again. Y'all, I cannot wait. I am going to do away with all the canned beans. Now, I'm not getting rid of them, but we will be getting, that's the last time I'm purchasing them. I prefer everything in a jar. It's cleaner, it's more nutritious, and I'd much rather have that. I don't have the metals coming from a jar. So I am super stoked about this. Which, yes, chicken broth, we're going to need that. And I'm using half and half. So this was homemade, home canned chicken broth and a can of store-bought together. Like I said, we are eliminating the cans little by little that we accumulated, but I'm very grateful that we did have them. So I'm not going to condemn anybody if that's what you can do is do cans because you cannot can your own. Do what you got to do. This is what I am choosing to do for my family. I have a canner. I have no excuse. I can do my own. All right, y'all, so this oil and butter is just about ready. I am so happy for this thing. I have not had to burn my food since this got fixed. I've been so happy. We don't even get burnt popcorn no more, actually. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and we're going to add our onions. And yeah, okay. Move this aside here. We're going to add our onion. And we're going to saute our onions to translucent and just about caramelized. And then after that, we're going to add our 2 cloves of garlic, which we're going to take our garlic and just mash it. This is all going to get pureed, y'all. So it doesn't matter. You do not have to be picky or, with it or nothing. You're just going to release the flavors. That's the reason why we're not adding garlic right now. We do want to concentrate on this. So we're going to cook these until they're caramelized and translucent. Once that happens, we will be right back. All right, y'all. Our onions are caramelizing, nice and translucent. Now it's time to add our garlic. Just enough to give it that flavor, because we do not want to toast this. And you know what happens if we toast or cook our garlic too long? It ends up getting bitter. Now we're going to add, after we release that scent, there's that garlic. Now we're going to go ahead and add our butternut squash. And about 4 cups of chicken broth. And go ahead and add this as well. I need to, I'll add more. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this simmer. I am going to add a teaspoon of salt to this. And 1 bay leaf. Once I add the bay leaf, we're going to cover this up. We're going to let it simmer. We want to be able to cook this, the squash to very nice and tender, because we are going to actually puree this. What this mix is going to do is take place of the bechamel sauce that you use in homemade macaroni and cheese. We're not using flour, but we will be using cream. This is going to be our bechamel instead of flour and milk. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go add my bay leaf to this. Once my bay leaf is added, I'm going to cover it up. We're going to let this cook until it gets tender. Once this happens, we'll be back to finish this. Okay, y'all, so the choice of cheese that I am going to use, you're welcome to use any kind that you like, whether it be Parmesan, Pecorino Romano, sharp cheddar, anything. I'm actually going to use a combination of smoked Gouda and a very, very nice white cheddar that my husband had gotten from one of the employees that he works with for Christmas. This has an amazing flavor, so mix that with the smoked Gouda, and this can be some really tasty mac and cheese. Now, hubby has agreed to try this. He's being very brave at this point because he loves his mac and cheese. He's a southern man, and I'm going to tell you, making it with butternut squash doesn't compute in his brain. But he's willing to try it. So, and honestly, I've never tried it like this either, but I'm willing to, because if it means healthier and it tastes amazing, I'm going to replace it, y'all. Now, the pasta that I'm going to be using, and by the way, I need about, I don't know, a cup, 2 cups of cheese. Make it your own. Make it the way you feel comfortable with making your nice and cheesy flavors. So I'm going to mixture both this Gouda and the white cheddar. And then we're going to put this aside. What's ever left I can always put in the refrigerator basically and use it for something else. So if I grate too much, oh well. let me get this aside and then I will show you some pasta. We're going to get this finished, grated up. Mise en place, y'all. We're going to get our next step up before it even happens. So I need to grate all this cheese for our next step. Alright, y'all, so while our butternut squash mix is cooking and heating through, I'm actually going to go ahead and pre-cook my pasta. Now, I'm using a rigatoni. They say that anything with a ridge on it, whether it be panini, rigatoni, or anything like this, if you got a ridge, that sauce tends to stick to the pasta. Now, however, my pasta is not like your ordinary. I had talked to you about using authentic pasta from Italy. Y'all, this has been the most amazing thing that has stepped onto this homestead. And Cece, bless you, darling, because this pasta is amazing. So I use it sparingly because I want to keep it around. So y'all, we're going to make some of this up and set it aside, but we are using rigatoni for this one. So we shall be right back. Okay, y'all, you are going to hear the air fryer currently working because I am going to be air frying some chicken legs for hubby for his dinner. But our butternut squash mix is done and tender. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to strain it in a strainer. But I am going to reserve the juice in this on the bottom to reuse if we need to. So now I'm going to take this, turn this off. We're going to strain our mix because we're going to have to puree our bechamel butternut. Now we're going to save this pot because we're going to put everything back in here afterwards. Alright. Going to pull out our bay leaf. And this right here is what we're going to now puree. So I'm going to put this in another dish and I'm going to get out my emulsion blender and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so we need about a third or 3/4 of a cup of milk. Use the milk of your choice. I'm actually going to use cream because it's what I have. And then I'm going to take my emulsion blender, and I hope that this air fryer isn't too loud on y'all. We're just going to mix this up. Now, if this becomes too thick, even with our cream in here, we've got the leftover juice that we're going to add to this to help thin it out. If you don't have an emulsion blender, you can use a regular blender or a food processor, y'all. But you want this super smooth. So once we get this done, we'll be right back and I'll show you what it needs to look like. Alright, so when we talked about this too thick, this is right here is a little too thick. So we're going to buy the tablespoons, not by the cups, y'all. We're just going to add about a tablespoon of sauce to this and go from there. We don't want it super thin, but we don't want it this thick either. So let me go ahead. I'm trying to hold this so it doesn't dump my bowl. So I'm going to take the juice right here that it was cooked in, the broth. Because we've got enough cream in here. I'm just going to add just a little bit of this sauce or juice to it. One more here. And once I get the right consistency, we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so now we have our nice bechamel sauce made from butternut squash. We're going to add this back into our pot, and this is when we're going to add our cheese. Again, if it becomes too thick, I can always thin it out. In the meantime, our rigatoni is cooking as well. And we're going to turn this on medium or low. Heat this up a little bit. And we're going to start adding our cheese. I will tell you, this has an amazing flavor already. I just tried it, and oh my goodness. Beautiful bechamel. It also has that nice macaroni and cheese color too from that squash. Now remember, Cheese has already got enough salt in it, but we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. And I'm going to add just a pinch of nutmeg. Our goal right now is we're adding our cheese because we're going to melt it into our sauce. Check my rigatoni right quick. Beautiful, y'all. Nice. I've got about 200 grams of rigatoni cooking as well. Now I am definitely going to have plenty of leftovers, and I may take some of this bechamel and set it aside. I'm not going to add, I would have to need a lot more rigatoni for this. So I may set this aside for another meal of some sort. Or somewhere down the line, I should say. Now I'm going to go ahead and just keep doing this to, just like I said, y'all, add your own choice to what cheesiness you like. Taste it as you go along. Now I'm going to add some, I don't have any white pepper, but I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to this. A pinch of salt. And a pinch of nutmeg. And that's it. Now we're going to mix this and make sure all of this cheese melts. Once we get this melted, we'll be right back because we're almost finished, y'all. Okay, y'all, so we got our cheese melted into this. Now I did take half of this and put it in another container because this gave me more than enough cheese mix. And I will tell you, now if you're looking as your normal bechamels or your Velveeta macaroni and cheese, this is nothing like that. However, this does taste phenomenal. So now I'm going to add my cooked rigatoni. I'm going to mix this up really well. And then we're going to take this to our baking dish because we're going to finish by baking it, y'all. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. So I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees. Let's get this to our baking dish. Okay, so I am going to lightly grease my baking dish just to keep it from getting stuck. This ain't nothing but just regular olive oil in a spray-based pump. No aerosol, nothing like that. It's just regular ingredients. Now I'm going to take my mix and I'm going to add it to my baking dish. All this rich goodness going inside this dish. Now I have fresh milled breadcrumbs that I am going to add on top, which is going to make this even more amazing as far as nutritional wise for us. You could use any type of breadcrumb that you would like. If you do fresh mill, this is an amazing way of using those breadcrumbs too. So now we're just going to spread this. I'm going to sprinkle on the top. You can toast this if you want to. You can add butter to this if you want to. I'm actually just going to sprinkle some of my breadcrumbs on the top of this. Just like so. And I'm going to pop this in the oven. Now if you also wanted to, you could add Parmesan cheese on top. So we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to heat this through until it's golden brown. Once it's there, we're going to try it and we'll be right back. Alright y'all, so it just came out of the oven. That looks amazing. It smells. Oh my goodness. So I added some cheese on top and melted it. I'm going to get a small dish and we're going to test this. Okay y'all, so I will tell you, first of all, everything you've known about mac and cheese and the high sodium processed cheeses that you would add to this, and you know what I mean, or the other old-fashioned bechamel, add your cheese, flour, milk, and all that. This, oh my goodness, y'all, this is amazing. We just tried it, and even hubby said he's going to take some for work. So it does not taste like the mac and cheese we know. However, This is so close to homemade mac and cheese as I've ever tasted it. So much healthier and so flavorful, y'all. Where's this been all my life? Oh, how rude. Sorry for my rudeness. I am definitely going to want to finish that dish off. Y'all, if you have never tried this, I am going to encourage you to try it at least one time. This tastes absolutely amazing for being a healthy food. It's oh my goodness, amazing. We did not have to add flour, although I added breadcrumbs on the top. That's optional. You can or you don't have to. The only thing I would say that was not maybe so much healthy was the heavy cream and the cheese. However, you can make that any way you want to. You can use milk, almond milk, any type that you want. You just want a creamy base. And then you could do whatever cheese, light, whatever. I am going to encourage you, though, if you do use the cheese, please don't use the pre-grated stuff. You don't want all those caking agents into this mix. You want to be able to grate it yourself. This is the most amazing mac and cheese I have ever tasted, and it perfectly works on the Mediterranean diet, and I'm going to use this. Now, they don't use a whole lot of cheese in the Mediterranean, but if I want to eat healthier, this is the way to go. I will put the recipe in the description box below for you, and I hope you enjoy this meal. I understand this was a long video, y'all. I have a lot to make up for, but I had to do this with you. So, I love you dearly. Thank you for many of you who checked up on me. I'm going to give my voice a rest now. I love you, and I will get back to you just as soon as I can again, y'all. Mwah. Much love from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead.